This is October of 2021, making another video regarding the NFL. Justin Tucker of the Baltimore Ravens kicked a 66-yard field goal on September 26th of 2021. In my opinion, 66-yard field goals are not physically possible under game conditions, under pressure conditions. A 66-yard field goal, in my opinion, will not be made. The scenario from which the 66-yard field goal was made, I believe it was scripted and staged carefully. I'm going to go over this clip that I got off of YouTube. The scenario starts with a 4th and 19 with 26 seconds left. Lamar Jackson, the hotshot quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, was able to complete a pass that put them first down on the Lions' 48-yard line. However, I'm going to go over carefully. The spotting of the ball was carefully placed on the 48, although I believe the receiver reached the 47. The line judge carefully immediately went to the 48-yard line and marked it on the 48-yard line. Very important that that ball was placed on the 48-yard line. And as you will see here on the field, there's a superimposed marker on the 42-yard line. That was the ideal area in order to make a makeable field goal, reasonably realistic makeable field goal. Minimum spot would have been on the 42, but it was put on the 48 for a 6-yard differential. 48 and 42, a 6-yard differential for a 66-yard field goal attempt. There's your 666, very important. Okay, now before I get to the obvious flaws, I want to start off by talking about Lamar Jackson's completion. Very unrealistic 4th and 19 conversion. You have a linebacker for the Detroit Lions mirroring Lamar Jackson with a three down defensive lineman. It's going to give Lamar Jackson a lot of time to pass, which is fine. But this linebacker is staged here to mirror Lamar Jackson so that he will not scramble. Now we're talking 26 seconds. So this is do or die right here. The linebacker's job is to mirror Lamar Jackson, which gives the Detroit Lions defensive backs free leeway to trail the receivers wherever they go. They can just mirror the receivers step for step within a yard or two without grabbing them, to keep them tightly covered, man-to-man coverage. And again, 19 yards. There is no way that this completion will be made if that strategy is carried out. But of course, the strategy was not carried out because the Detroit Lions defensive backs pretended to be preoccupied with Lamar Jackson on the line of scrimmage, which allowed their receiver to get open, as you see here. That D-back was preoccupied with Lamar Jackson, in which he should not have been, because again, like I just stated, the linebacker's job was to stay at home and mirror Lamar, giving the defensive back full focus on his receiver to trail him as tight as possible, which would have made it impossible for Lamar to complete the pass. But again, the defensive back wanders away from his receiver as to look at Lamar to give the excuse of allowing his receiver to be open. So that completed the pass. As you see here, the receiver falls on this 47. The referee moves it to the 48. The Ravens receiver picks the ball up and gives it to the referee, not another referee, but the Ravens receiver gives the ball to the referee to spot it on the 48 so that the Ravens can come down and spike the ball to stop the clock. Okay, the next play, the game clock is stopped. Now you got the play clock will count down. You got 7 seconds. The only thing they have time to do is to kick the desperation field goal or to throw the desperation Hail Mary pass. Of course, this is being staged for a 66-yard field goal. But they had to do one more thing. They had to run that clock. The game clock had to be run down to 3 seconds. As you see here, it is stopped on 7 seconds. The game clock had to be run down to 3 seconds to set up a scenario of 9-3-3. So the ball is snapped after the play clock deliberately runs down to 0. Purposely, they did that on purpose. Game clock runs down to 0 as to show the fans that this is the new set of rules. Symbolic, the game clock running down symbolically with the Detroit Lions on with 17 points. The number 17, my life is over. The game clock running down to 0. Not game clock, but the play clock running down to 0. Game over. Detroit Lions 17 seconds. Game over. But the play clock going down to 0 did not matter, because the new set of rules says we're going to continue play, and we're just going to show you that your life is really over by kicking a 66-yard field goal with a 6-yard differential from the 42, making 666. With a 9-3-3 scenario, because we got number 9, Justin Tucker, on 3rd down, kicking a field goal with 3 seconds left. There's your 9-3-3. All symbolic, all carefully planned, carefully synchronized for esoteric meaning. Again, the counting down, the play clock, counting down to 0, it shows starting on with 39 seconds, but of course the game clock has is a 40-second timer, but the camera typically will not catch it on 40 seconds. It'll catch it after 1 second is ticked off. But typically you'll see the play clock start at 39 and count down. At 39, it's another scenario with 39. Counting down to 0. Detroit has 17 points. My life is over. 39. March 9. 39. 3rd month, 9th day, 1933. If you've looked at my videos, especially the Derek Thomas video I did, USA Inc. videos, 3/9/1933 is the date that the American citizens' lives ended as citizens. The lives ended as free citizens on that day. That's why that number 3/9/93/933, the combinations of 9s and 3s, very relevant for USA Inc. citizens, for the fans of the NFL. This is why this 66-yard field goal scenario took place. I say aid of EMF, because how the ball reached the crossbar and bounced over for dramatic effect. The NFL is playing 17 games. As to continue with the whole 17 scenario, NFL is playing 17 games, an odd number of games, again, as to illustrate the meaning, my life is over. The NFL is sending serious messages to their fans this year. Why is the NFL playing 17 games? There's no longer a possibility of a 500 team. You are either a winner or a loser. Minimum winning scenario, 9-8. Minimum losing scenario, 8-9. There's no more average team. You're either a winner or a loser. There's no more average. You're a winner or a loser. This is the reset. This is the overall narrative theme since this reset has occurred, since the fans have been allowed to come back and replace the cardboard fans, to come back and enjoy the idolatry. I say, I don't want to sound like I'm a holier than thou kind of person, but it's idolatry. Sitting in the fans, worshiping our favorite idols, And they're showing the symbolism of demise with number 17. 17 games, 611, VIXI, my life is over. 39, the symbolism for the life of the citizens coming to an end, being very repetitive for a reason. I want people to fully understand this. Arrowhead Stadium has a sponsorship for the first time. The most iconic stadium in the league at this point in time, due to the recent success of the Chiefs. Geha, however you want to say, is now the sponsor and is a non-profit government employee healthcare association based out of Lee Summit, Missouri. Non-profit government, non-profit, is now owns the naming rights of perhaps the most famous iconic stadium in the NFL. Government run. The symbolism of a government run agency always stands for weakness, diminishing status. If the government takes over something, whatever it has been taken over, whatever the established organization that has been taken over by government funding or government situation, that organization is now in the status of diminishing. The NFL's most popular team over the past 2 years is now diminishing. I'm not going to sit here and try to predict here on, October. This video is going to be dated in no time flat. I don't care what the outcome of this particular football team's schedule, but as I look at this number 17, the dark esoteric meaning 611, I say 611, 11-6 is the true meaning. It's the true hidden meaning in the number 17 as it's broken down here, translated from the Latin, as you see here. Best way to traumatize a fan base is to love bomb them with championships and giving them every indication that it's going to be, the dynasty will go on for several years and then suddenly snatch the rug out from under them to bring them trauma and humiliation and depression. 17. My life is over. Non-for-profit sponsorship. The Heart of America, Kansas City, Missouri. Featuring red colorations. Red being in debt, in the red. Arrowheads in the heart of America's popular team. I'm not saying the Chiefs are the most popular team, but they're a very popular team. Arrowheads in the red. Number 17. Government funding. Did you see the message that is being sent here? I will continue on. I'm going to follow up with Justin Tucker in his number 66, in his 66-yard field goal, with the being placed on the 48-yard line. The 6-yard differential for number 42, Freemason. Justin Tucker had an issue a few years back when he missed his first extra point. I'm going to cover that coming up. His extra point miss was from 33 yards out. I'll cover that coming up right now.
Whoa. Wait. Justin Tucker, he's like the best. Like how? You really? And look right down the middle. Remember, it's only 33 yards on a. You really? And look right down the middle. Remember, it's only 33 yards on a. He was 222 of 222. Remember, it's only 33 yards on a. He was 222 of 222. Remember, it's only 33 yards on a. He was 222 of 222. Remember, it's only, what, 33 yards on a... He was 222 of 222.
You see Tucker looking there surprised. That's to show us that there was definitely... that tells us that there was a redirected based on his look. That's why they had him look that way. A 33-yard extra point. It's interesting that the NFL set up a 33-yard extra point scenario. I think it's for esoteric meaning of 33. Justin Tucker having that field goal missed, being a Raven, knowing that later on it would be replayed in reverse on 9/26/21. I will decipher that number. As I'll post it there, the meaning of the Raven, and bringing him back 3 years later to kick a 66-yard field goal, breaking the NFL record, as to compensate for the 33-yard miss that they definitely directed that ball away from the uprights. I believe they directed the ball the same method to direct it across the crossbar, 66 yards. I want to get into, before I get into how my method of proving based on actual video footage of balls being manipulated seemingly by magic, sorcery. I'm just going to call it EMF waves, but I believe it is actually sorcery. I'm going to get to that a little bit later, but I want to cover something that I come across on YouTube, talking about the Detroit Lions apparently being cursed by the score 19-17. And overall, and here's the post on YouTube that is the front page of this channel that's talking about the Detroit Lions losing to the Ravens 19-17. It's no coincidence that, as you see here, that 19-17, that 17 scores right next to the number 39, football player number 39. I can't think of his name. I'll post his name. Number 39 photograph right there, and how it's staged next to the number 17. That is very purposefully. And it says the Lions are cursed by this score. It has happened to them 3 times. Overall, at this stage, at this point in time in October of 2021, this score has occurred 54 times in the NFL. 54 times, the score 19-17. It's happened 3 times to the Detroit Lions. So there is your 9-3, because 54, 5 plus 4 is 9. It's happened 3 times to the Detroit Lions, so there's your 9-3. I want to continue on with this, the number 9-3. 9s and 3s, very important. It coincides with the overall theme of Babylon's demise. And I believe this is the main message that is being sent covertly to the masses. There is a pending demise of Mystery Babylon and the United States. United States Inc. is Mystery Babylon, being signified by the reoccurring of 9s and 3s. Okay, Tower of Babel is all about Babylon. I covered this before in another video. According to the book of Jubilees, the Tower of Babel was 5,433 cubits high. There's your 9-3, 5-4-3-3. There's your 9-9-3, 9-3-3. I believe the relevance of the score being 19-17, of course, 17 meaning my life is over. So overall theme of closure. 19, I believe it coincides with Adam, the first man. Adam was 930 years old. Biblical record, King James Version Bible. That equates to 19 Jubilees. The Book of Jubilees will explain the whole time period of Jubilee. One Jubilee is 49 years. Adam lived being 130. He lived 19 Jubilees, so there's that score. That's why that score keeps reoccurring. It has reoccurred it has reoccurred 54 times in the NFL as of October of 2021. And that score has occurred 54 times, 19 to 17, 19 Jubilees. And Adam's life came to an end after 19 Jubilees. Life coming to an end. The number 17, my life is over. This is all carefully scripted. These numbers are lining up not by coincidence. This is not a coincidence. And I wanted to go over something kind of like a side note. During this drive, the Baltimore Ravens did for that winning field goal, there was a stat given that Justin Tucker had made 49 straight field goals, which I checked that, and that stat is not accurate. I don't fully understand why they would just make up a stat that's false, but the number 4 is at 49. I believe it coincides with a Jubilee year being 49 years, and they were 4th and 19. They did the 4th and 19 conversion. I believe that's the two numbers that coincide with one another. 49 Jubilee years. Adam lived 19 Jubilees for 930 years. I'm going to close this section out and move to the next section. I'm going to address this whole subject of possibly having what I will refer to EMF guided systems. I'm going to show what I consider evidence, and I have several clips of questionable things that I've seen in sports replays, but these are the better ones that I think I can illustrate with, and not to make this thing go too long. This basketball game, college basketball game from, I'm thinking this was 2018. It doesn't matter who these guys are, what team these are. But here's a play where you got this particular play where the guy comes around, and I'm not going to try to be a basketball commentator, but he gets the ball and he throws the ball up off the backboard. I'm going to guess that he's several feet out. That is at least 30 feet. I don't know what the top of the three-point circle is. I'm going to say that's 30 feet. The issue with this play, besides the people clearing out for him in order to come into the paint and get his own rebound and put the ball back in, which is completely unrealistic. He's going to put a certain touch on that ball with the amount of force that he uses with his hands. That ball should have not traveled more than 15 feet. He puts like a magic touch to where that ball just accelerates and allows him to come in and get his own rebound off the backboard and put the ball in for 2 points. You see that? A completely unrealistic scenario. I got it going in slow motion. Now I'm going to have it go in fast motion, and you can really see how he doesn't put anything on that ball. He puts very little force on the ball as he shoots it. It's such a soft touch release. You'll see it. That ball just accelerates to where, of course, they clear out deliberately so he can come in and make the 2 points. Again, the amount of the touch he puts on that ball, it shouldn't have made it halfway to that backboard. But again, after it leaves his hands, it just magically accelerates in the air and bounds off the backboard
and he catches it and puts it in for the 2 points. This, of course, I'm not using my original commentary. I'm just going over what I've already recorded. So there's one of the examples of EMF manipulation on a ball right there. The ball just zings to the backboard. Now, my second and best example is coming up where there's another college team and the guy's on the close to the side court, and I think he's running out of time to inbound the ball, so he tries to bounce the ball off the guy to make the ball go out of bounds so he doesn't run out of his inbound time. This is the most obvious one where the ball is being manipulated by a force, a literal force. There it is. So that, whatever that is that's making that ball do that circular motion, is the same force that made the ball leave that guy's hands on that soft touch, basically backboard shot. That same touch is making this inbound attempt to bounce the ball off the guy. It makes the ball go in a circular motion. It's the same force, and that force is the same force that I believe made that 66-yard field goal. It's the same force that made Justin Tucker's 66-yard field goal. It's the same force that caused him to miss his 33-yard field goal back in 2018. So this is my evidence. I just don't want to blow this out there. Hey, it's being guided by EMS, blah, blah, blah. I want to show the reason why I'm saying this. Here is evidence, visual evidence. Here's one from a NASCAR. I've actually had this in another video that I have taken out. The number 42, back in, I think this is, I may be wrong on this date. This is the Daytona 500 of 2012. It was a long delay. I think it was a rain delay. And there's a caution flag. And the number 42 came out of the pit and is driving by itself to around the track to catch up to the back of the line to the pack of cars that's just basically cruising in caution mode, which I believe is around 70 miles an hour. He's cruising around, and there appears to be a force that takes his car and causes him to start sliding sideways as if he's on ice. You know, NASCAR driver, I think this is Montoya, Juan Pablo Montoya was a driver at the time, driving the number 42. His car begins to swerve and slide sideways as if he's on a sheet of ice, and it crashes him into what's called a jet dryer. It's a piece of equipment that cleans the track and dries the track of any kind of fluid. Fiery crash into the jet dryer. That, now what I'm saying is the force that's making that car turn sideways is the same force that caused that football to sail 66 yards in the air, that caused all the other anomalies that I have shown. That same force, not to get too sarcastic with this, that same force that caused that car to go sideways is the force that's causing this individual to do what he is doing. This is my case. This is my suggestion as far as an explanation to why these things are going on. It's my explanation to why we see anomalies in sporting entertainment. It's because there's a major manipulation going on. It is on a level that people, if they knew what it was, they would not be comfortable at all as far as a continuation and being entertained by it. Okay, and that's gonna be it for this section. Next section coming up, I want to give an illustration on, well, as to try to summarize the discussion. Are professional athletes being told to follow a script, or are they being manipulated to follow a script? Is there a plan? Is there a rehearsal time where professional players agree as if we're watching WWF? Is there an agreement that made amongst the players, or is there a manipulation during live action to cause players to basically do things they normally wouldn't do? And I'm going to give illustrations on, I'm going to suggest that there's a possible hijacking of thought processes to cause players to do strange things. It's just a few examples that's coming up right now, and then I'll close out the video. So, in the subject matter of are players deliberately doing these strange activities, like this lineman from the Minnesota Vikings just falling down, there's definitely a trend of that type of activity from football players, in particular linemen. And back at the time I recorded that, I think that's from 2018, I was pretty much flat out calling it fake. Now, in retrospect, from today's perspective, I see this as a good chance that this is manipulation. Like, even on this one from the Super Bowl with the Patriots and the Falcons, I was beginning to think that the players were just, I think I even put a caption here, did they flip a switch off? I'm leaning more towards that because it's happening too many times, as you see that one right there. And then I put a caption there, I find it hard to believe that a professional football player would just agree to lay down in the middle of a game. I am really beginning to lean towards there's a manipulation of thought process. Like, there's the whole concept of a hive mind mentality via EMFs. Now, this one here, Clemson and Alabama championship game from a few years back. Look at that lineman there, just absolutely motionless. This is probably one of the best examples. That lineman just goes limp. Now, is his switch turned off? Is he agreeing to do that? Either way, with my communication, what I'm trying to communicate to the fans of football is there is a reason why weird things happen. There is a reason why there seems to be a scripted drama that's obviously not realistic. Whether it be players not doing what they should do. I hear on a high school level, this is clips from way back, high school players are now doing it. They're not blocking. See that offensive line there blocking for a field goal attempt. They just let those guys through. It's going, this type of thing is happening across the board. It's happening in different sports. There's a game from the playoff game from the Chiefs a few years back with the Tennessee Titans. Look how the player deliberately bats the ball. The Chiefs player bats the ball back to the Tennessee's quarterback, I think. Obvious. There's an example. Playoffs with the Steelers and the Jaguars. Those guys that don't even deliberately don't try to tackle him, and it's as if they want us to see that the tackle was not tried. They want us to see these things openly. Okay, so another example, look how the Chiefs defenders deliberately let this guy go. I don't know what year this was. This is probably 2018. Watch how they just pretend to be confused. Again, are these players in agreement to allow this to happen, or is there like some kind of master control, as if there's a video game where you turn off the players' common sense mode? Not trying to be funny about this, but anyway, this next section coming up regarding, see this right here. This is one I really hate to show this one, but this is one of the most bizarre examples of why would a player do what he's doing. He's putting his hand on that guy's rear end, and it happens to be the number 42. I don't know if you caught that number. It's number 42. And of course, that's Clemson wearing orange. The orange color is representation of 33. And they even made a story about that one, number 42, inappropriately touching. But okay, here's another example of players going into some kind of a glitch. James Harden, it would be James Harden, and very well-known player. And I don't know who this other guy is, number 3, Harden, number 13. Look how they go into reverse mode, as if the basketball goal is behind them, but it's definitely in front of them, and they just kind of freeze and go into like a defensive, Harden not knowing what to do, dribbling as if the basketball court is on the other side of them, but in fact it's in front of them. Definitely some kind of a shutdown mode right there. Harden, number 13, the defender, number 3. 3 times 13, 39. It's just a 3-9 scenario right there if you decipher it properly. Very strange. When I originally caught that in regular speed, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And the crowd didn't seem to react to it at all. It was just like everybody was looking at it as if it was something normal that would usually take place. I believe that was definitely some kind of breakdown. Now this next clip coming up, I'm going to let this scenario of this baseball play here, which happened a few years back, I'm going to let it speak for it.
Hits him in the head.
And into right field.
Winning run scores.
And the winning run, Tucker scores.
Okay, that's Astros and the A's. Okay, let's watch the replay.
Celebrate a walk-off error. So let's go inside.
Listen closely.
So the ball is hit.
The ball is hit. I'm going to analyze it step by step. Okay.
So let's go inside this play. So the ball is hit. It's foul, but it bounces.
The ball is hit foul. You heard him. Just play that one more time.
So the ball is hit. It's foul territory.
Since when does that count?
Croy grabs it. All he's got to do is tag Bregman.
Why does he have to bother to tag him? That's a foul ball, people.
So the ball is hit. It's foul, but it bounces back into fair territory.
One more time. Bounces foul. That is not a hit. It's not a bunt. It's foul ball.
So the ball is hit. It's foul, but
he says it. It's foul.
The ball is hit. It's foul, but it bounces back into fair territory.
Now we got Mandela effect going on. Now they changed the rules where you can hit a foul ball, but if it bounces back in fair territory, then it's live. That's what they're trying to tell us.
Croy grabs it. All he's got to do.
Now we're off and running to the shenanigans. Oops, I don't want to tag you. I want to drop the ball. See? He's running. Oh yeah, we're off. Now we're gonna win. He's gonna have to. He's looking behind him because he knows he's getting ready to get hit with the ball. This has all definitely been practiced. Boom, hits him with the ball. Game over.
And as you heard me say in my original audio caption, or our audio commentary, I should say, back in the time I made that, I think that was 2018, maybe it was 2019. Now, I don't believe that they were faking. I don't know how you could have faked a foul tip. That's a natural occurrence, but it's as if after the foul tip occurred, everybody went into another train of thought, and the obvious foul ball became a live ball. Now, that catcher, I said in my captions that the catcher deliberately drops the ball. Now I'm thinking that ball was taken out of his hand. Based on what I've been showing through this whole video, that ball was taken out of his hand. I don't really care how crazy I sound right now. I'm just looking at what I believe to be true, and I am trying to communicate this to the audience. Obviously, that be very careful moving forward as we come out of the lockdown and we are in reset mode. I'm showing all these different scenarios that I felt that were bizarre activity. And again, at the time I made these clips, I'm calling it all fake. But again, my train of thought now is See, I was even putting all that, fake symbolism. But now I'm believing that these guys were coerced and manipulated into acting out a melodrama, which is what the system wants everybody to participate in, melodrama mode. In real life, they want our day-to-day activity to be a melodrama style. As you see this boxer not getting hit, getting tapped on the chest, and he's knocked out. Okay. So I want to touch on something that happened. I hear baseball. I got some baseball clips too where the guy deliberately misses the ball and he kicks the ball around the yard. That kind of thing. Okay, but as that's going on, I'm going to tell you about something that I made a Derek Thomas video recently, and toward the end of that Derek Thomas video, I made a casual statement, and I used the caption of Derek Thomas making a tackle on a number 33 from the Cleveland Browns. And I made a casual. And during that segment where I'm showing that picture of Thomas making a tackle on number 33 from the Browns, I'm in the frame of thought of talking about idolatry, and I say something like, I don't want to point out how bad we are. That's not what the video is about. That's coming right up. And I'm going to show how in game 1, week 1, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cleveland Browns, that statement I made about how bad we are, it's going to be answered in that football game, week 1, Chiefs versus Browns at Arrowhead Stadium, with the number 33. And I'm making that point just to show that the system will answer you. Doesn't matter how big your channel is. The system's paying attention to people who are putting out straight truth. Say the system will answer you. I'm saying that because my claim is Cleveland Browns versus Chiefs, game 1, week 1, number 33 actually acts bad, as I suggested in the caption with the Derek Thomas shot image of tackling the number 33 Cleveland Browns. So a number 33 Cleveland Brown week 1 acts bad on the Chiefs sideline, gets himself kicked out. I'm gonna let these clips play out so that you will hear for yourself what I am talking about. Coming right up here. USA Inc. The citizens of USA Inc. will be judged. When that great and terrible day of the Lord comes, we stand before His judgment. Those who are not of the wheat and the tares, they will be judged. I think the big sin will be idolatry. But again, not to keep harping on, how bad we are. This is not the purpose of the video. The purpose of this video is to get individuals to see, as you indulge in entertainment, you have to know.
He's have more time than he's had in the past in the passing game as well. Oh,
whoa. That might be an early exit for Ronnie Harrison, taking a swing at a coach on the Chiefs bench.
After the play, number 33 has been disqualified. Yep. Well, they got him. He's gone, and that's rightfully so. You can't do either of those things. And Andy Reid was right. I mean, that's your
again, not to keep harping on, how bad we are. This is not the purpose of the video. The purpose of this video is to get individuals to see, as you indulge in entertainment. Now, in closing, hopefully I made that clear how those I don't think it was a coincidence that I mentioned acting bad and showing the captain of number 33 Cleveland Browns player being tackled by Derek Thomas. And then week 1 2021 season on September 12th 2021, they're being deciphered as 933. The first year the NFL goes 17 games happens to be on a date that is deciphered as 933. September 12th 2021. It's carefully planned ahead of time to take the NFL to a 17-game season, it had to be on 9/12/21 for 933 to match the 17 status, which I've been harping on all video long. It's all again a narrative of closure, demise. March 9th, 1933. Emergency Banking Act being made possible by the Independent Treasury Act 66 Congress. How that coincided with the 66-yard record-breaking field goal by Justin Tucker earlier. All that, I believe I made myself clear enough to where you either believe this or reject it. I feel like I need to put this information out for those who will hear it. I don't think there's very many people left that are able to hear it, but I know there are a few left, and this is the purpose of this video. I'm going to close it out. It ran a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but hopefully this has been of some help. And with that being said, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with all of us.